That's why Petronas announced its aspiration to achieve net zero carbon emissions.
Petronas has increased its focus in providing cleaner energy for its customers around the world.
What up,
Our
moro
gas
moro.
and new energy business, which offers LNG,
Joo,
natural
vähän
gas, and
formulaa
gas, is a
katsellaan.
one-stop center that strives
Ei
to
katsota
meet
kuitenkaan
evolving
striimissä,
customers'
mutta
demand brought about
kommentointia
by
tässä
energy transition.
samassa. Ja
Over the years,
laittaa
we
ton
have
tonne.
become
Mä tässä
technical
koitan
innovators
syödäkin
in our
sit samaan.
field. Now it's time to change and redeploy those skills for a greener future. We have a long sustainability journey ahead of us, but it's a journey we look forward to taking.
Mennään kohta tonne formulaakin. Aha, noniin. Nää. Ei uskalla yhtään näyttää tuota formulaa, kun no, saman tien saat näin kuin copyright.
The power to capture perfection. Or take pictures of your
Ja kun mä oon syönyt, niin vähän vedetään tossa varmaan aikaa jotain
on the latest phones, plus a £100 gift card when you switch to 3.
Welcome back to qualifying here in Abu Dhabi. Mercedes with pace, Hamilton and Bottas first and second fastest. Sebastian Vettel complaining that Carlos Sainz got in his way, not just Esteban Ocon. And if you've missed the first part of qualifying, if you're a Sky Q or a Sky Glass customer, you can watch the highlights alongside the live action by pressing the red button. And if you want to contribute to our live poll as we watch the drivers go for the poll, you can do. skysports.com/play. Who's going to be on pole in Abu Dhabi? Lewis Hamilton shading it. Well, double the amount really. There's those voting for
Morpeura.
3% of you say neither. Not quite sure who you're voting for there, but whoever you want to vote for, do.
Vois laittaa tohon peliin jotkut aikat päälle, niin
Who's got pole on the track? Christian Horner meanwhile.
ei tarvitse kattoo. Tätä screenia. Oi saa kyllä tulista kanaa. Ai saadaan vinksejä.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I mean they've certainly got pace, and obviously they did an additional run. The circuit's getting cooler, the track's getting quicker. That we didn't respond with Max with, so just trying to save a bit of money.
Pystyykö tässä muuten spekkaa?
Now obviously the crucial part of which tyres you take to start the race off.
And can you give us a heads up on that? What do you think is going to be the strategy for the top 10?
I'm not going to give away our hand, you know, obviously because
Ei pysty niinku spekkaan. No ottaa täältä joku väitu tänään pärjää.
Yeah, you know, obviously we're going to go out and do the best that we can and pick our start out. You'll see in due course.
Is there an argument though, Chris? You don't have to give away your hand, but is there an argument?
Joku vitun Latifi.
Soft tyre, if you're behind Mercedes, you might be on a medium tyre. Could be a good
Mut pystyykö tässä niinku spekkaa?
if you were to go that way.
It's a possibility.
How to watch a eye-only race? I don't believe you can. Mä oon ihan varma, mitenköhän se toimis.
Cheers, Christian. Thanks for joining us. Medium tyres.
Megasus pelaa Playgolla Need for Speed. Nice.
Medium for the Mercedes as well. Thank you to the 10,000 plus of you who've taken part in our poll so far. It's a lot. Oh, keep voting. skysports.com/play as the light goes green and we get on with the next part of qualifying. Now, not only do we lose the slowest 5 once again in this one, but the tyres that you are on to set your fastest lap. Those that get into the top 10, they are your starting tyres for the race.
Yes, the exact set. You're not allowed to mix and match sets. If you've got a genuine problem with the tyre, you can take it to the FIA scrutineers and exchange it for one of a similar mileage. And as they're jockeying around, we've got the two Red Bull Hondas, and we have the two. We've got one Gasly, haven't we?
Tällehän toi toimii, mut ei tää hirveesti lohduta.
Honda powered for the last time in Formula 1. It's Honda's last race, and well, like Antonio Giovinazzi, I hope it's not the end of Honda in Formula 1. I hope we can see them back again. Red Bull will have their own branded engines, albeit built in association with the Japanese company.
That's giggly because Nico Hülkenberg said to me, "Yeah, you have a saying. I love this saying. You, what is it? What is it? For good measure?" I said, "Yeah, I get a bit of stick."
No, kiitos Cobra. Noin meitsi taas syö samalla, niin...
So in other words, a little bit hotter.
Tällä tää kamera tässä, niin katsotaan tota oikeeta aikaa jo tossa ja katsotaan tätäkin vois varmaan accelerate tohon, missä mennään nyt.
And prepare them ready for the launch. You don't want to have to be doing 2 runs in Q2.
Nythän siellä alkaa Q2 ja ilmeisesti Räikkönen ja Jovi. Perusmatchupiin Schumacher pudonnut ja kukas siellä on yksi ketään pudonnut. No, katsotaan tästä. Kuka tässä pelissä? Räikkönen ja Jovi vetää siellä. Aha, nyt tuli just hotlappi Räikkösen eteen jotain porukkaa. No ei kyllä oikein onnistunut. Hämi vetää siellä nopeinta sektoria. Tässä on muuten väärä vittu rata. Miksi vinksejä on näin hankala syödä?
I think it's a bit of hoarding moving around there. This is flat out the penultimate corner. And then really, turn 16, keep it inboard, and Lewis with half a car width to spare, and gets it
Vähän pääsis oleen muuten ajaa tossa, jos mä putoan.
Half a car width and a 1/10 of a second up on Max Verstappen as Verstappen makes his way around the final corner, goes second.
Mä muuten pääsen ajaa.
Picked up the pace towards the end of the lap there, only 4 1/1000ths of a second between Hamilton and Verstappen, and suddenly
se on muuten ihan salee silleen.
Showdown here in Abu Dhabi.
Se vaan pudottaa mut tossa. Nohon 4000 sekuntia toi välitys Verstappen ja Hämi. Katsotaan nopea kun acceleratetaan tää pois.
Red Bull will just turn up their engine and they'll put some distance between themselves when it comes to the shootout for pole, but you can't do that now. Your modes are all set, aren't they? By the time that you start qualifying and you take into the race as well. And well, it's a beautiful sight. The red and the blue of Alpine and Ferrari, 4 cars all out there, pretty much nose to tail. Ocon ahead of Alonso, ahead of Leclerc, ahead of Sainz as the Mercedes actually gets.
Pitäis olla joku multiplayer-loppi, et pystyis pekkaan.
At the moment, some of them recovering back to the pits.
No perkulle, sillähän mä teen. Mä otan pleikka 4 tosta. Mut sitä ei pysty... Ei helvetti, sitä ei pysty sit niinku nopeuttaa.
And Alonso going with those soft tyres as well. So a 1:23.185 for Hamilton, a 1:23.189 for Verstappen. Bottas 3rd fastest, Perez only 6th fastest. Tsunoda, who's had an excellent weekend, the young rookie who completed 123 laps in practice here in the test last year, but has never raced at Yas Marina. Well, Tsunoda's looked very much at home on this track, it has to be said.
Yes, he did say everybody's got something new to learn here with this new layout, but he's been really fast.
Meidän laittaa joku paska vaikeustason tosta ja testaa.
A little bit incident prone in the Grand Prix, to say the least, but showing some great speed. You can always calm down and sort your racecraft out. You can't find speed if you're not fast enough, and it looks good for Tsunoda.
Q3 for Tsunoda in 5 of the last 6 races. Ocon is a race winner in 2021. Could have had 2 podiums, but he was pipped on the line by Valtteri Bottas last time out. While we watch his progress down that back straight, Ted's got some news in the pit lane.
Just a quick one. Pierre Gasly's had a problem on that lap. Crofty explains that gap to his teammate Tsunoda in 4th. Gasly only 9th.
Speed
felt
heat.
like after turn 9, he went for the brakes and there was just nothing there. So maybe it was a brake-by-wire problem. Anyway, he's going to return to the pits and try and sort it out for his second run.
DRS for Esteban Ocon, slam shut us into turn 9. He goes, he's only half a second down to the first 2 parts of this lap. His teammate Fernando Alonso about a 10th of a second up on young Esteban. About a 10th of a second up on, I won't call him young Alonso, but you know, he's still a spring chicken in terms of his performances in Formula 1 as Tsunoda's gone off the track. Both down at turn 1. Ocon crosses the line now, goes 5th fastest. Decent lap from the Alpine. What's Fernando Alonso got to show? He goes now 5th fastest and beats his teammate by nearly 4/10 of a second. Leclerc behind in the Ferrari, and he goes 3rd fastest.
And Verstappen's been wide in turn 1 as well.
Flat spot.
That's his race tyres.
That is not good news for Max Verstappen as Carlos Sainz on the soft tyre goes quickest overall by about 100th of a second from Lewis Hamilton. So as I mentioned, whatever time you set as your fastest time in Q2, if you're into the top 10, they are your race tyres for the start of the race. Does he want these race tyres, Martin, or not?
Yeah, and he knows you can hear it when you're going round.
Verstappenille tuli flat spotti. Joutuu kisaajaa sillä.
And you can feel it, and then the faster you go, the more it shakes your eyeball. It's surprising to go for another lap. Top 10 there, isn't it?
So here's the thing, he hasn't got another new set of the medium tyres to use to try and improve the time of the 123.
Tässähän on se uusi kohta. Ois voinut ottaa säännöt pois, niin jos voinut ajaa ihan miten sattuu.
But then he would be starting the race on a set of soft tyre, or they give that a quick once over at the back of the garage and think, right, we should be able to race that tomorrow. If you have flat spotted it, you don't want to be starting with that.
Well, the vibration can break the suspension. It also makes it difficult for visibility into the braking zone. And as soon as you flat spot a tyre, the next time you brake late, it will always stop in the same place because it's prone to, of course, not always, but quite often. And and eventually you go through the rubber to the carcass and the tyre will fail. So a flat spot is bad news, and we've seen drivers having to come into the pit suddenly because the team.
Tässäkin on se uusi neulan silmä. Vitsi se on makea.
So what would the FIA do? Would they allow?
Ja sit tähän mennään ihan täysin, tullaan vähän niinku täältä päin. Spot niinku vasemmalta. Oho! Noniin.
Are you alright? Engine off, engine off.
The umpires will have a box of balls of a similar age
Onneksi flashback.
to bring out and change if necessary.
They might be able to use the left front. They've got 3 sets of mediums for the weekend. They might be able to put a left front on with some mileage on from another set. If they can show them the damage and it's
not ideal. See how that transpires.
1.50 Bottaksen aika. Voitin 10 sekunnilta lohjaana.
Hamilton, but locking up and flat spotting a tyre going into turn 1. Carlos Sainz on the soft compound tyre put in the fastest lap of that session, a 1:23.1.
No niin, sit vedetään accelerate.
Carlos Sainz, who's been struggling to get into Q3 of late, only 6 times in the last 14 races. He's gone on and scored in every single one of those 14 races. But Sainz is the fastest at the moment, albeit on the soft tyre, not the mediums, and the track may be starting to get a little bit faster as well towards the end of that session. Ricciardo and Stroll, Giovinazzi and Vettel and Gasly all need to improve their times because they're in the elimination zone. Ted, down to you.
Well, the likes of Stroll and Vettel need to find 4/10 to half a second to try and get out of this session Sebastian Vettel a 24.3. You really need a 23.3 to be sure of getting out of this session, but they both get out on the hard tyres. What's going on with Daniel Ricciardo? Lando Norris on the medium tyre and is quicker than Ricciardo on the soft. So I don't think Ricciardo got the best out of the McLaren on that run. So let's see what Daniel does again. But have you noticed Giovinazzi's Kimi tribute helmet, Crofty?
Yes, I have.
It's very nice. From the Ferrari era. The sort of black, white and red version, whereas Kimi's got the McLaren and Sauber era tribute helmet to himself.
There's quite a few tribute helmets going on this weekend. Valtteri Bottas is 101st and last start for Mercedes.
Ilmeisesti tässäkin pitää nyt ajaa toi. Mä luulen, että se jää se edellinen aika.
As he and Lewis Hamilton celebrate 100 races as teammates, and the last time as teammates.
Mä luulen, että ne voi vetää silleen yhden hyvä. Mut näköjään se on niinku mitä aina vetää uusi.
George Russell has got a helmet that looks like it's been signed by all of his teammates, mechanics and engineers. Nicholas Latifi writing on there, George, I was your favourite teammates, which is quite cool to boot as well. Lewis Hamilton sporting that rainbow helmet and wearing it with pride, full racing pride, as he has done for the last 3 races, of course. Now, Max Verstappen, I'm told, is coming out of the garage in a moment and will be on the soft compound tyre.
They often do that, don't they, to rehearse the top 10 shootout and then abandon the lap so they don't become the set of tyre. Will he abandon that lap, or will he be consigned to starting on soft tyre because that's what it is?
Yeah, well, watch out when he starts a flying lap or not. Sebastian Vettel is on the flying lap at the moment, and he needs to fly like the wind. He needs to get out of that bottom 5. There's the Aston Martin pit wall and the team principal Omar Safnauer in the front of the shot. And well, there's the car park, ladies and gentlemen, that we often see in qualifying, and it's headed by Charles Leclerc, then Fernando Alonso, then Lance Stroll, and Pierre Gasly. Lewis Hamilton's in there ahead of Yuki Tsunoda too, and it looks like we've got a race on already as they try and find themselves a little bit of track position and not too close to the car in front. And who knows how this one's going to sort itself out as Hamilton dives down the inside and gets past Charles Leclerc, and then gets bypassed by Pierre Gasly. There is a danger, Martin, that they are all pushing a little too hard here.
Could be, they've got plenty of time to get round, but yeah, a lot of clever people with a lot of clever tools and algorithms coming up with the same answer. And there they are, all out there together.
Miten voi lähteä?
Well, there goes the Alpine around the outside of Max Verstappen. He's kind of found himself boxed in. So now he's slammed the brakes on a little bit.
The fastest lap so
No niin sit
far.
kattelu.
Alpine, and he's just going to hang back. But the more you hang back, the more you cool your tyres down.
Yeah, they've got a gentleman's agreement for those laps, which always makes me giggle, to be honest. The whole concept of that in Formula One, especially in qualifying.
Yellow flag in sector 3, and it's a double waved yellow flag, which could have consequences for those on a flying lap. As we watch Fernando Alonso, it's all been cleared now. Alonso's well away from where that yellow flag was waving. It's all been cleared up, so it won't affect his lap, as Hamilton puts in a 16.8 for the first sector, Alonso a 69. Vettel did a 19.8, and I wonder if it's Sebastian Vettel that brought out that double waved yellow. I think it might just be, and that could be the end of Sebastian Vettel's qualifying, because he's in the bottom 5.
Yeah, and of course, if you're in a double waved yellow zone, you're obliged to give up the lap.
Which Norris and Ricciardo and Giovinazzi might all have been caught up a bit in that as well. Just watching the timing screens, they might well have found themselves.
Tosi ei muuten mitään järkeä. Jos niinku saat vikana suunnilleen ja sit tulee double yellow flagi, niin miksi sä noudattais sitä? Pistä vaan kaasua ja koetat parantaa sun aikaa, koska mikä pahinta, niin sulla tulee joku grid penalty. Mut sit niinku sä pääset vetää niinku ajan, tai niinku sä vetää hyvää ajan tuohon ja pääset pois tuolta eliminaatiosta.
From Carlos Sainz. Lance Stroll will be the next driver to cross the line, and we're on board with the Canadian now, making his 100th race start this weekend. Would love to do it inside the top 10. He's not going to get that chance. Misses out by 0.3 of a second. Pierre Gasly would like to be in the top 6. He's not. He's only 12th at the moment as Perez goes fastest on the soft compound tyre. So Perez will definitely be starting this race on the soft tyres. Verstappen's done a 17.0 for the first sector. That's on pace for a flying lap as we now ride on board with Esteban Ocon round that turn 14 where Sebastian Vettel scuffed the advertising hoardings a little while ago. Ocon now to the final corner. Norris has gone fastest, his fastest through the middle sector. Ocon 8th fastest. Norris at risk with his teammate Daniel Ricciardo also putting in a personal best in the middle sector. Norris goes quicker, I should say, 7th fastest for him. Max Verstappen will start the race on the soft compound tyre because he has gone quicker and he's gone quickest of all. Cheers from the crowd. Red Bull have played their strategy hand here. Mercedes will be starting this race on the medium. Red Bull hoping for more speed off the line on the softs. Ricciardo makes it into Q3, but only just. But in this championship battle, Martin Brundle, Red Bull have gone for speed and grip off the line.
Did they really want to though with Max Verstappen, or was their hand forced with the lock-up on the medium compound tyres?
Hamilton vetää tuo mediumille, Bottas kanssa.
Prepared to tell us, but for now they're through. But of course this is not the grid. It is the grid for 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th, providing we don't get any gearbox or other penalties. But it's about who goes through to the top 10 shootout. It does commit both Red Bulls, as you rightly say, Crofty, to soft tyres to start the race.
So Sebastian Vettel misses out, Antonio Giovinazzi misses out, Lance Stroll misses out on Q3, Pierre Gasly fails to reach Q3 for only the 4th time in the last 25 Grand Prix, and Fernando Alonso misses Q3 by just 12 one-thousandths of a second. Verstappen quickest on the soft tyre, that's what he'll start the race on tomorrow. Hamilton on the mediums.
The agility to make the right decisions faster. F1 on Sky Sports is brought to you by Workday, a system for finance, HR and planning.
What's gone is gone, right? Wrong. What is gone could be got back. Have hope. Grow more hair. Do something about hair loss. Clinically proven. Discreetly delivered. Order today at Newman.com.
The usual happens. Again and again and again. We invite you to escape the conventional and embrace the delectable. Welcome to the world of Hendrick's Gin. Undeniably peculiar, utterly delicious. Oddly infused with rose and cucumber.
This is our collective history. Together, it's ours to protect. For new histories to be written, new records shattered, new legacies forged. CrowdStrike. We stop breaches.
Why buy a brand new car when you can lease? With Select Car Leasing, visit selectcarleasing.co.uk today.
Our name is here, and here because we earned it, helping Scuderia Ferrari protect their data. We've been working as a team for over 10 years, and the better we do here, the better we do here.
Well, welcome back to qualifying here in Abu Dhabi. We wondered what happened to Sebastian Vettel with a double wave yellow flag. And this, Martin Brundle, was the kerfuffle of all kerfuffles and a gentleman's agreement that no one could agree on.
Well, they're all trying to get on with it. It'd be so easy to trip over another driver there. Fernando Alonso feeling that the McLaren held him up. McLaren was just starting a hot lap there in front of him. can't imagine that's going to go too much further, but Fernando starts 11th and an angry 11th, but Sebastian Vettel, he was a driver going through a double yellow, and therefore automatically, as much as you lift off the throttle, as much as you take it easy, your lap time is deleted. It's a newer regulation to make sure people don't just keep pushing on through those double wave yellow zones.
Right, who'll be on pole position in Abu Dhabi? Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, somebody else? You get your chance to vote. skysports.com/play. And after that car park confusion, I now know why
62% nyt Hamilton on paalulla, mutta saa nähdä mitä toi Mersu nyt tekee tässä. Vetääks ne noilla mediumilla kuitenkin se?
Yeah, the lockup wasn't ideal, so it kind of forced our hand, but I think you know, we were 50-50 going into that session. It forced our hand, and you know, we're taking the soft. It's going to be a different tire to you know, Mercedes tomorrow, so we'll see how it plays out.
Why were you going for an extra lap, Christian? Was there a need for that lap?
You can see that it wasn't particularly comfortable with the evolution of circuit. We weren't just sure how much it was going to evolve, so yeah, we just wanted to be, you know, doubly safe. So yeah, that's why we started the next lap, but unfortunately grabbed the front into turn 1.
Sets up a great conundrum though, doesn't it? Can you one-stop tomorrow's race, or is this an aggressive two-stop? All those options are still available to you.
We believe they still are available to us. Yes, exactly. So, but you know, it might give us a better opportunity on the first lap at the start. You know, we're expecting Mercedes to be fully quick in this third sector of qualifying. So, you know, strategically to do something different, to be on a different tyre, that gives us you know, other strategic opportunities in the race. You know, be it one stop or potentially two.
Christian, thanks ever so much. Best of luck to you and to everyone at Mercedes as well as you go for pole position. And normally this season it's been a Red Bull or it's been a Mercedes on pole, with due respect to Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, the only non-Red Bull or Mercedes pole sitters. Ted Kravitz, we are 30 seconds away from what could be the most important pole shootout of the season.
Yeah, can't wait. And everybody piles out again, together. They just want to get together, don't they, on those last few corners and get in everyone's way. They're all queuing up at the end of the pit lane, as you can see. Not a yellow tyre amongst them. By the way, Yuki Tsunoda threw on the medium tyre. Yeah. Isn't he, Crofty? So
be right back.
Yuki. Great shout from him. Great job. P8 in Q2 on the medium tyre, slower than the soft, so good job from him. But I'm slightly confused with the Christian Horner. 2 stops are always is not a bad way to go. When did that happen, Crofty? It's always been a one-stop round here. It's 23 seconds you lose in a pit stop, and it's still pretty difficult to overtake round here. So I'll have to go back and check my notes as to whether when 2 stops has ever been a good strategy around this circuit.
Well, when 2 become 1, Ted.
Ah, very good.
It's the last Spice Girls song I mentioned for this weekend. Right, here we go then, Martin. 9 poles for Verstappen so far this season.
Make sure we're not holding Max up, just get on with things, don't hold Max up.
5 poles for Lewis Hamilton, 3 poles for Valtteri Bottas, Perez with a front row start in Imola. If you were on skysports.com/play, where would your vote be going right now?
The pole,
yeah.
It still looks as if Mercedes have slightly the upper hand, but I think an ace lap from either the 2 Red Bulls could put a shocker in and surprise us on that, but we saw it was 4,000 in it, wasn't it?
See floor, let Max do his thing and let him catch us up in sector 3.
Let Max do his thing and let him catch us up. Is this Sergio Perez giving Max Verstappen something of a slipstream and a tow here?
Quite possibly. So let Max warm the tyres up as he needs, and then let him catch you up. You're right. He'll hurt a bit if he's too close through turn 1, and a little bit through turn 5, and then we'll get a slipstream effect down the 2 straights plus the DRS. So is this team play? It looks like it, doesn't it? Because he's not too far behind now.
And also, the 2 Mercedes cars are pretty much the same distance apart as Perez and Verstappen. Might be a double team play here.
Except Hamilton's in front of Bottas.
Ah, good point.
In the other pairing so far.
So Verstappen starts then his first flying lap. in this Q3 section. I just wonder if Bottas will slip past Hamilton at some stage, and maybe they'll employ the toe if Red Bull are trying to do that themselves. Mercedes drivers get the choice, don't they? They take it in turns, race after race, as to whether they want to come out first or come out second. Verstappen has come out flying.
Yeah, it took superb speed into the hair.
Ihanko Bottas sais mitään vetoapua tänään? So Hamiltoni kyllä vedetään tänään.
Turns 6 and 7, there it is. Ease the nose in, does it change direction nicely? Will it handle the torque demand through the exit? Yes it does, but Hamilton even faster in the first sector.
So they don't need the toe, maybe, down at Mercedes. 17-0 for Perez. He's a couple of tenths down as we watch Hamilton.
He pulled out of the way. Perez pulled out of the way there. Did slipstream Verstappen down the straight towards turn 9.
So Verstappen with a 35.6 in the middle sector. They've been losing time to Mercedes in the middle sector. Maybe that's where they needed it the most then.
Siellä Verstappeni vedettiin nopein kakkossektori. Mites Hämi? Ei onnistunut.
2 tenths up on Hamilton through the middle sector. Verstappen crosses the
2 tenths
line.
up.
122.1. Is that good enough to take provisional pole? We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, he aced the last corner, did Max Verstappen. So it's all on Lewis Hamilton now through the final sector. Verstappen's been always saving a little bit of tyre as well for this final few corners. Let's see what Lewis Hamilton's got in reply.
Tsunoda ahead of Norris. Here comes Hamilton, crosses the line, only second fastest. It's front row and half a second between Verstappen and Hamilton. The team game at Red Bull has worked.
Mitä vittua, puoli sekkaa nopeampi.
Yeah, you saw Perez just diving out of the way into turn 9 and yielding completely the end of the second half of the lap really to Max Verstappen. That's a cracking lap, a 22.1. That's 7 tenths quicker than he did in Q2, for example. Lewis is 5 tenths quicker than he was in Q2. So what will Mercedes do now? Will they choose to follow that concept and sacrifice a Bottas lap? Look at Tsunoda up there in 3rd place.
Trouble is, if they sacrifice a Bottas lap, he is going to start, best maybe 4th, possibly 5th, if Perez can get a decent lap in where he doesn't have to move to one side and might not be in the game to help out during the race necessarily. This is a pretty bold move by Red Bull, and you've got to say it has come off to a very great effect. Perez crosses the line, 3rd fastest. So Bottas now down to 5th.
Mitä vittua noit tekee toi Mersu oikeesti?
Put his Red Bull on the 2nd row.
Yeah, really smart play there from Red Bull, wasn't it? So basically Sergio's charged his battery up and his quali lap has been the 2nd lap. And so he didn't really sacrifice too much in that respect. Albeit 8 tenths slower than Verstappen, just to remind you, A, what a great lap it was by Max, and B, a handy slipstream as well down the 2 long straights.
Wow. In a season full of twists and turns, here's a Saturday night surprise from Red Bull that has left Mercedes half a second adrift. And I don't know if you saw the faces on the pit wall or in the garage at Mercedes, Ted Kravitz, but they looked a little bit stunned and shocked.
Well, you know, Alpine go on about L plan. Mercedes are going to have to come up with L plan to either do this to Lewis Hamilton with Valtteri Bottas, because it works so perfectly, because Max towed Checo on that 2nd run, Crofty. I don't know if you saw that on your pictures. He was being told by Max was being told by his engineer how to tow Checo to return the compliment while Max was on his in lap and Checo was going on his fast lap. So yeah, lovely work. Let's see if Mercedes change the way they do it. They'll probably have to. Carlos Sainz just come into the pits in front of me, leading Charles Leclerc at the moment by a 10th. Let's see if Leclerc has got anything in return. Good pace there from Ferrari, 5th and 6th now.
47 in the Ferrari battle so far this season. Closest one on track coming into this qualifying was Alonso Ocon at Alpine, 10-11 in Ocon's favour. He's won the qualifying battle 12-10. Yuki Tsunoda has had his lap time deleted, so what was a potential best ever start in Formula 1 for Yuki Tsunoda now needs to be repeated, because he's got no time on the board. And did Hamilton lock up going into the hairpin?
He certainly did. And of course, as soon as the tyre's not rotating fully, you lose grip. You can see how hot the brake discs are there on the front. And yeah, he just walked past the apex.
Red Bull screwed me over.
Yep, okay, understood.
Got way too close to me. Yeah, you could easily got in my way in the slowest part of the circuit.
Doesn't seem fair to me.
That is a conversation between Lando Norris and his race engineer Will Joseph, as much for the steward's attention and race control's attention as it is between the pair of them. That's Tsunoda's track limits violation. Which Red Bull was it that Norris claimed got in his way?
Don't know, if I'm honest, but yeah, Yuki Tsunoda having oversteer coming out of the last corner, as did Pierre Gasly in the sister car as well, and counter-steering into the slide, just like you need to do if you hit some ice or something or slippery patch on the road. Walked him across the line.
Who will be on pole in Abu Dhabi? Lewis Hamilton was 60%, now just underneath. Max Verstappen attracting a few more votes. It's a live poll. You can continue to vote away. The timings have Max Verstappen by half a second.
Whew. Take some catching.
Perez ahead of Bottas, Sainz ahead of Leclerc, Norris ahead of Ocon, and Ricciardo ahead of Tsunoda, who had his lap time deleted. Right, Ted, down to you again.
Just seeing how Ocon actually got through into that session. Fernando Alonso still fuming apparently coming out the back of the garage. Felt he'd been held up, but Esteban Ocon kept a cool head, just waiting to see him out of the Alpine garage, and he's got out ahead of the McLaren of Lando Norris as well. So the Ferrari's the last. Just seeing the Mercedes.
Nyt lähtee vikat.
Together the Mercedes as well, Crofty. Let's keep an eye on whether they manage to do a toe. Bottas to help Hamilton.
Perse ja Red Bull molemmat samaan aikaan.
Again of that pairing though, but you need to get out early to get this done, otherwise you get caught up in all of this shenanigans at the back. So it's Mercedes.
Vittu menis vaan tonne ekaksi ja hidasteli, sehän saatanasti.
On the first run, so that you can play that game, and it's basically like a slingshot for each of your two drivers, isn't it? And there is Sergio Perez getting out of the way, and Max really getting down nicely into the apex. So there's the slipstream then, pulls him along, punches a hole, a Red Bull-sized hole in the air, and then leaves the way absolutely clear for his teammate to steam into turn 9.
Well, didn't it work well? And it was Sergio Perez that Lando Norris claimed got in his way towards the end of Norris's flying lap.
Vittu mikä taktiikka.
Q2 we saw the kerfuffle. That will be investigated after the session by the stewards, who might be in for a lengthy night with that one.
So Hamilton remains
The car settings screen on your multifunction allow you to change various settings as you drive. Open the display with the MFD button. You can then navigate up and down to the setting you want to change.
So
the two Red Bulls are not going to get that comfortable opening lap to themselves.
2 minutes to go then. It's the final qualifying session.
Hämi ajaa ekana. Mitä vittua Bottas takana?
Is on provisional pole at a track
tänään koittaa.
In the last 6 races here.
Eiks nyt vedäkään toisiinsa? Bottas saa varmaan tuohon. Bottas varmaan vetää tuossa vikassa. Eiku. Ei mitä vittua.
What is going to be an absolutely thrilling race. We're in to the final shootout for pole position here.
Tremendous exit from the first corner for Lewis, but he's still 49 thousandths of a second down. Apex hit this time. Remember, he locked up in there before. Down the first of the long straights then to tight and technical turns 6 and 7. Car sparking away as the aerodynamics force the chassis to the ground. And let's see if he can pick up the throttle nicely through the exit without any complaint from the rear tires. A little bit of movement there. You never want any sideways movement. That means you're not going forward when you're going sideways. He's out on his own, no slipstream for Lewis, and he can pour the car into turn 9. It's a
nyt hirveen nopea. Vittu Verstappenikin parantaa vaumaa. Ei nyt kyllä Verstappeni voitti.
He needs to absolutely ace this final sector because he's lacking by about a tenth of a second. Any time to beat Max Verstappen, who's out on track, and you can see him there. Green sector's been displayed by all the drivers. The track is ramping up. It's getting quicker, but is it getting quick enough for Lewis Hamilton? 5-time pole sitter here at Yas Marina crosses the line on pole in 2021. You can hear the roar.
Porukka vittu hurraa.
Verstappen is going quicker through the middle sector as Tsunoda gets a
Ei
time on the
Bottaskaan
board.
paranna.
Was good enough for
Mikäs se Bottaksen aika oli?
after getting his initial lap time deleted. Last time we came here to Yas Marina, Max Verstappen was on pole, went on to win the race.
Can Perez get his Red Bull ahead of
Ja meneekö Pere vittuun Hämi ohi? Ei me millään. Oho, Norris meni Bota ohi.
Perez hasn't been on the front row since Imola. It's fourth fastest only for Perez.
Nyt veti Verstappen hitaasti.
Max Verstappen.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin,
Kato, Hamilton voitti
let's have
tästä
a quick
pelissä.
look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Verstappen and Sergio Perez. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
This is a big advantage tonight on Saturday for Max Verstappen.
Well played, Red Bull. So first and fourth for Red Bull, second and sixth for Mercedes-Benz. Look at Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, third and fifth for McLaren and Ferrari respectively. That is
Vittu, mitä tää striimaaja tekee?
Oh yes! Didn't expect that one, but amazing job, guys.
Well done, mate. Great teamwork. Great teamwork. Well done. Good job.
For the second year in a row, Max Verstappen's on pole, and you can hear how delighted he is. Mercedes, did they miss a trick by not going for the slipstream? Red Bull did it, and they did it to perfection tonight. For Lando Norris, that's his best start since the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And we remember that
Monen se Bottas oli? Oliko se vittu oikeesti viides?
Finish that was in the end, but a sensational performance from him. Perez alongside him on the second row, Sainz ahead of Bottas on row 3, Leclerc ahead of Tsunoda on row 4, Ocon ahead of Ricciardo on the 5th row. The stewards have a lot of investigating to do.
P3, great job.
Yeah, baby.
Norris kolmas, vittu. Mitä helvettiä? Nyt kyllä Mersukusit on... Miks ne ei ottanut sitä vetoa siihen? What happened to Bottas, vittu, joku kommentoi tuo just. Kiitos Cobra oikein paljon, sanon Kristalle terveiset.
I think it was clear from Christian they would have preferred to start on the mediums, but it wasn't that cut and dry, and it's not a disaster to be starting on the soft compound tyres, but he's going to have to, well, let's see how it plays out. See how it plays out with any incidents, how far they can get on the soft tyre, but that is beautifully poised, isn't it?
Yeah.
The two contenders yet again on the front row of the grid, and one of them on the soft tyres in pole, the other on the medium tyres in second. Wow, how would you second guess that?
If you ever watch the Derby and there are two thoroughbreds in the field, head and shoulders above the rest, and one's an absolute flyer out of the stalls and the other one bides its time to come through in the final furlong, that might be the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix tomorrow night with extra added horsepower. Don't miss it. We're on air from 11:30 in the UK. Lights out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the UK. In the UK, Max Verstappen with his 10th pole position of the season secures pole from Lewis Hamilton, who has to settle for the front row here, and Lando Norris starting third. What is Lando Norris's race tomorrow? What can the McLarens do under the lights here to finish off their season and maybe secure one more podium? He's already got four during the course of this year, has Lando Norris. And Red Bull, for the first time in this hybrid era of V6 engines since 2014, have two cars starting in the top 4. Wowza.
Max, he pretty much abandoned the last corner of the second run, so confident was he that pole position would be his.
I said best start since Monza. No, he got pole, of course, at Russia.
Missä Bottas?
Wasn't it? But a super performance from Lando Norris, nonetheless. 250th front row start in Formula One for Mercedes, but I'm sure they would have liked it to have been the other way round. Verstappen on pole for the second year in a row here, after winning from pole 12 months ago.
Yeah, 1 minute 22.109. That he found 7/10 of a second from his Q2 effort. That And that's Lando Norris's mum and dad. And very satisfied to be in the press conference today, weren't he?
Yeah, just a bit.
With the two championship contenders.
Some questions to be answered down in Parc Fermé. First, though, David Coulthard has with him Max Verstappen, tonight's pole sitter.
Max, what a difference a week makes. You could have had the pole in Saudi Arabia. You have the pole for the final Grand Prix of this season. The smile says it all. We didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Where did you find the lap?
Yeah, it's of course an amazing feeling. I think we definitely improved the car again in qualifying because so far this weekend was a bit on and off. But yeah, incredibly happy with this. I mean, this is of course what we wanted, but it's never easy, especially with their form the last few races. But yeah, now I'm just looking forward to tomorrow because that's of course the most important.
Well, of course, that's where the points are tomorrow. We have conflicting tyre strategy. You're on the soft, Lewis Hamilton on the medium. Can you throw forward from Friday practice what that is going to mean in terms of strategy?
I mean, I felt good on both tyres. So, of course, naturally now in the evening it's a bit cooler, so it should be a bit easier for the soft tyres. But we'll see tomorrow. Of course, you know, it's very important to have a good start. And from there onwards, you know, we'll just try to do our race to our very best. And then we'll see where we end up.
I know you guys are brilliant at deflecting questions regarding pressure, but you must feel a little bit of weight lifted from your shoulders with that qualifying result.
I was very relaxed going into qualifying. I know I always do the best I can, and I know my team always give me, you know, the best possible car. And you know, we have been doing that already the whole year, and you know, again today that worked really well.
Max, congratulations on pole position. Lewis Hamilton. Great to see the respect there between Max and you as he walked up. You did the fist bump. The battle between you is going to continue into tomorrow evening. You look like the man on form. The betting was all on you for the pole position. Clearly it hasn't quite worked out. Talk us through that session.
Yeah, well firstly, Max did a great lap today, so yeah, we just couldn't compete with that time at the end there. But it was looking really strong through practice. Firstly, we've got a great crowd here, regardless of the booze. But I'm just grateful to see people here healthy. Yeah, we couldn't answer to that lap. That was a fantastic lap from him. So but we're in a good position. I'd like to think with our tyres for tomorrow, and I hope that we can have a good race.
But put us in the cockpit, Lewis, because I got the sense that wasn't a really clean lap from you. You know, I get the sense that there was more pace in the car. So is that the case? And you know, how do we throw this forward to the all-important Grand Prix?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you saw, the first lap dropped a little bit of time in the last in the turn 5, but the last lap was nice and clean. I just couldn't go any quicker. So I don't know if it's tire prep or whatever it may be in terms of the outlap, but nonetheless, I couldn't beat that time that he did today. He fully deserved the pole.
We just heard from Max saying he's super relaxed ahead of qualifying. He must be elated because you know the importance of pole. You've done this a lot of times before. You're a 7-time world champion. A little bit of disappointment, or it's all throwing forward now to the opportunity?
No, I'm still in the front row. We've got the difference, obviously, between the tyres, but I'm grateful I can see where he is, and then we can try and navigate from there.
Nice touch. Lewis, well done on the front row start for the final Grand Prix. And here's a man that I am sure is very, very happy.
Norris.
Where did that lap come from?
I don't know, really. I mean, it came already in Q3, run 1. I made some improvements, but also a few mistakes, and then I just did a clean lap in the end. So I went for pole, didn't quite work out. I was still a little bit off. But no, it was a nice lap to be P3. It was a bit of a surprise.
Now, it won't be lost on you as you celebrate this strong end to the season for McLaren. You've got one of the best seats in the house on the run down to the first corner for this championship battle.
Yeah,
En mä halua ajaa vittu Red Bullille.
I kind of want to just stay where I am and just watch everything unfold over the first few laps, or even the whole race. But I also don't want to really get involved too much because it can cause a lot of controversy. So I don't know whether to go for the move, not go for the move. You tell me. But I'll do my best, and if I have a chance, I'll go for it.
Okay, Lando, great lap, great way to finish your last qualifying of the year. Good luck for tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Cheers, everyone.
Well, what did we say? Expect the unexpected. Was that brilliant teamwork by Red Bull to employ the toe? These are questions we're going to put to Christian Horner in a couple of moments' time, but a fantastic lap by Max Verstappen out there with a 1:22.109. In the end, was enough to be almost 4 tenths ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Were they forced onto the soft tyres with that strategy for the start of the race, having flat spot, that medium in the second period of qualifying? They're going to be on a mixture of strategies tomorrow going into this final race. But we have got the front two in the championships separated by not a solitary point on the front row of the grid. And that, for every neutral watching, is exactly what we wanted to see. Amazing stuff. It's going right down to the last race, probably the last lap of the last race, knowing these two. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant by Red Bull. You have to take your hat off. Details then for tomorrow here on Sky Sports F1. First things first, we'll wrap things up with an F1 champion special. Myself, Jensen, Nico and Damon discussing what we've just seen and looking ahead to tomorrow. We're on air from 11:30 with the race getting underway at 1 o'clock. Football, busy schedule. Saturday night football is Norwich against Manchester United from 5 on Sky Sports Premier League. Leicester against Newcastle, the first part of Super Sunday, with Crystal Palace against Everton from 4 o'clock. The World's Darts Championship continues from 7 o'clock, gets underway I should say, 7 o'clock Wednesday on Sky Sports Darts. And a special programme tonight charting the progress of Pato O'Ward. Eyes on the target, Aaron McLaren SP's story of only their second season in IndyCar. But here we go. We've got what we wanted tomorrow. Verstappen and Hamilton on the front row of the grid. But were we expecting Max Verstappen to be on pole? He is. We'll discuss it next.
When change happens fast, agility matters. F1 on Sky Sports is brought to you by Workday, a system for finance, HR and planning.
When Petronas set a goal, they don't stop until they achieve that goal.
Over the years, we have become technical innovators in our field. Now it's time to change and redeploy those skills for a greener future. That's why Petronas announced its aspiration to achieve net zero carbon emissions by year 2050.
I don't really think there's anything that they can't achieve when they put their mind towards that goal.
Vedetään ihan pari kuolaria tosta, niin pitäis löytää toi muun muassa etuppikin tosta ja...
We can't help you get a sweet rod.
No niin, tervetuloa.
We can't make your kids get along.
Pientä valmistautumista jo huomiseen. Vaikka nyt aikalailla näyttääkin siltä, että meitsi vei ton liigan, mutta kyllähän se on kiva voittaa tuo Abu Dhabia. On se vähän tyhmä voittokin, jos se menis vaan tohon Konstan siihen ulos, tai vitun törmäykseen sen Konsta pikalla. Mikä ulos ei ollut. Bräck. Jaa, missä sitä sais sit parannettua? Olipa huono. No miten toi meni yli? Vittu nää töyssyt tässä oikeesti. Ei helvetti. Koitas. ton setupia ja laittaa sen rivaaliksi. Ne on ollut vähän nähdä, että miten porukka ajaa tässä oikeesti. Olipa vittu huono joku downforce tossa. Jaha. Tässä on niinku isompi downforce, mut silti tää tuntuu, että tää heittelee tää auto. Onpa vittu huono setuppi. Ihan kauheet noi töyssit, eikä setuppi toimi ollenkaan. Oi, mitä mä teen? Tää on tää mun oma setuppi. Koetaan tällä vielä. Mitä, eihän mä sollu yli, olinko? No joo, jolla ihan millillä yli. No, kai sitten oli. En mä saa yhtään kiekkaa ajettua. Jaha. Semmonen sutaasu. Jaa. Ei niinku lähe. Vähän sutin renkaat tyhjää tossa. Ois kiva päästä alle 136. Vaikee se on päästä, kun miten mä oon vetänyt noin nopea shikaanin tohon. Toi on kyllä nopea toi Montana. Tää on paha. Mä en tiedä miten tässä pääsis nopea. Toikaan ei ollut nopea, vaikka jäi vihreällä. Kyllä penkki vittu heiluu täällä niin pahasti, et ei onnistu. Tää! Nyt oli huono. Ei vitsi, mitä paskaa. Taas olee vika yritys, no niin. Tos meni aika hyvin toi neulan silmä. Toi on paha, jos menee vähäkään tossa kanttareessa, niin se auto lähtee. Yksi vielä. Ei lasketa. Ei lasketa. Meinas lähtee. Vittu! Kyllä yhden kiekan ajan vielä. Miten voi olla? Pitäis enemmän päästä kanttareen päältä. Ja tosta ei oikein, eli kanttareen päältä toi yksi kohta. Vähän liikaa. Tai liian vähän. Vittu! En mä tiedä miten toi ei läheny. Haistakaa paska. Ei helvet, tulee muuten paha kisa. Ihan vitu hitaasti taas. Tätä parempaa mä en pysty. Ihan perseestä. Onks ne siellä tiellä? Eihän mä pääse sinne. Sörnäisten ranta... Missä kohtaa se on? Miks tää ilta paskan video on tosta ihan eri paikasta? Siis mitä vittua? Vitun elokapina pellet. Tuun ajattaja yli. Oon mä mukaan 9000, mutta en tiedä. Ei niinku lähe. Ei vitun elokapinaa. Käy vittu töihin. Joo, Hemets lopettaa nyt vähän suunnilla reittejä tässä ja kaikkea paskaa. Aina missä kohtaa toi on noita. Ei no kato, se on reidin lähellä. Joo, kiitos näkemiin.